From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, November the 22nd, 2019. We open with response to the indictment brought yesterday against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for bribery, fraud, and breach of trust in 3 separate cases. The Prime Minister, who last night vowed he would not step down and that the indictments against him were an attempted coup, is receiving support from many on the right, saying he should continue to lead the country, while others are demanding he step down. The Blue and White Party is not going that far, but is demanding the Prime Minister give up the ministerial portfolios he holds, which is in keeping with Israeli law. Netanyahu currently serves as Minister of Health, Welfare, Diaspora Affairs, and is acting Agriculture Minister. Blue and White Party leader Benny Gantz, meanwhile, went on Facebook to say that despite the fact that he returned the mandate to Israel's President Reuven Rivlin, failing to form a coalition, he would continue to try and do so within the 3-week framework given to the Knesset by Rivlin yesterday. Netanyahu went on Facebook today as well to thank his supporters and to say, of course, I want to make it clear that this whole process will ultimately be decided in court. We will accept the court decision, of that there is no doubt. Though Netanyahu still stressed that he believes there are those in the police and in the state prosecutor's office who have not acted within the confines of the law, and that they, he said, must be investigated. The leaders of the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations, Arthur Stark and Malcolm Hoenlein, weighed in on the announcement yesterday to indict the Prime Minister, saying that Israel has proven itself again to be a strong, vibrant democracy and holds even its top officials to account by the most stringent standards. No one, they said, is above the law. The Prime Minister, like all citizens, is entitled to his day in court and to a fair and full process, adding that now was the time to stand with the people of Israel. Some 240 members of Congress sent a bipartisan letter to the Secretary General of the United Nations, defending Israel, its right to defend itself, and urging action against terror group Hezbollah. The letter was spearheaded by Jewish lawmakers Republican Lee Zeldin and Democrat Elaine Luria, as well as Haley Stevens and Michael Waltz. It urges Antonio Guterres to lead an international effort to limit Hezbollah's capabilities and to avoid the devastating but avoidable outcome of which they said you have previously warned, saying that the Iranian-backed Lebanese-based terror group has positioned its massive arsenal in civilian areas in Lebanon in order to target Israel, noting 6 terror tunnels exposed by Israel, while using the citizens of Lebanon as human shields. Well, a disturbing incident to report to you about at York University in Toronto, where hundreds of pro-Palestinian students tried to shut down an appearance by Israeli Army reservists. This week, members of the school's chapter of Students Against Israeli Apartheid interrupted a panel discussion with the group Reservists on Duty, made up of former IDF soldiers. They yelled calls for an intifada, the Palestinian uprising which was responsible for deadly terror attacks against Israelis.
Viva, viva, intifada! Viva, viva, intifada! Viva, viva, intifada! Viva, viva, intifada!
Some of the protesters reportedly ended up in a physical confrontation with Jewish students in a stairwell before security personnel and police intervened. CEO of B'nai Brith Canada, Michael Mostyn, said further investigation is required into how a registered student group was permitted to glorify terrorism and attempt to intimidate those peacefully assembling on campus. Police in Ramapo, New York, continue to investigate the brutal attack earlier this week that left an Orthodox Jewish man in critical condition. The victim, we now know, is a 29-year-old high school teacher and father of 4. He was repeatedly stabbed early Wednesday morning on his way to synagogue. While many believe the attack was anti-Semitically motivated, police have not yet determined if this was indeed a hate crime, and no arrests have been made as of yet. Ramapo Town Supervisor Michael Specht said police patrols were increased in the area, adding that there's no place for this type of crime in our community. Israel's Consul General in New York, Danny Dayan, visited the scene of the crime, saying, "When a member of our Jewish community is attacked, we are all attacked." The Anti-Defamation League is offering up to $10,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible. And staying with the ADL, the organization held its Never Is Now Summit yesterday in New York City, aimed at exploring the contemporary drivers of anti-Semitism and all forms of hate. Among the many special guests, Jewish actor Sacha Cohen, who received the ADL's International Leadership Award for, they said, using his craft to challenge racism, Islamophobia, and anti-Semitism. By the way, JBS was at the summit yesterday. Look for it here soon. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, November the 22nd. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by a concert with Israeli violinist Miri Ben-Ari. At 8, the creators of the hit Netflix series Fauda speak at the 92nd Street Y. At 9, it's the film A Simple Matter of God and Country. And coming up right after this newscast, it's Good Week Israel, followed by a look at this week's Torah portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, November the 22nd, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.